All right, guys. So we're going to start your 2022 digital marketing plan on how to maximize your lead flow in the new year. I'm super excited to share this webinar. So if you're a law firm, make sure that you pay attention and let's get started. So first thing is what we're going to be covering on this webinar. So number one, we're going to be covering is setting goals for 2022 on how many leads to hit your target. We're going to be also covering the 3 fundamentals of marketing success. Also how to optimize your website for conversion in 2022 and beyond. The big picture of all the online marketing channels that you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow online. Also we're going to be talking about the latest trends that you need to focus on in 2022. The other thing is we're also going to be developing a custom action plan based on where you are now and what you need to do, for the future as well. So let's get started. So before anything, I want to just say, if you're here, just make sure that you're paying attention. We have a few people that are on the webinar right now. You want to make sure that you turn off your cell phone, put it on silent, make sure that you're engaged and listening because, if you're more engaged, you're going to be really in tune in what you have to do. So turn off your Facebook, like any distractions you have. If you have a dog next to you, put them aside. So if you have a law firm and you're serious about getting better results in 2022, make the next 60 minutes like your priority. And for sure, you're going to see how it's going to maximize your efforts. All right. So before anything, I want to share just a little bit about our agency. We are a digital marketing agency, and we currently have about 106 5-star reviews. And we started out like as an agency 15 years ago, but it was more traditional. Like the agency was a traditional agency, and the last 6 or 7 years, we have transitioned into an online agency where we focus mainly on digital marketing. And we started just following that path because people were asking, hey, do you guys do websites? Do you guys do digital marketing? So we pivoted the last 6 or 7 years. So I just want to share a little bit about us. Once again, we have 106 5-star Google reviews. Last year, we won the Local Excellent Award from Up City. Okay, we were the only marketing agency in Miami. So very proud to share that. And we're part of the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, so we're accredited. So just want to share a little bit about us, all right? So our mission is to help law firms get more clients by improving their brand image and getting their internet marketing right. So that's what we do. I mean, we focus on law firms all across the country. And this is our mission. We want to help them not only to get them leads, but also to take care of their brand. So once again, download, this is, a free checklist that we're giving to everyone that's here listening. You can go to ewiserlaw.com/checklist. And this is just, a checklist that you can follow. There's 10 keys to online marketing success. So this is going to be a good guide. Once the webinar is done, you can go to this website and just download, this checklist. And it's going to kind of guide you on the things that you need to be doing in your law firm so that you can win for 2022. All right. All right, so let's start. So what's the hardest part about marketing your law firm online? So everyone that's here, I see like 5 or 6 people that are on. So what would you say is the hardest part about marketing your law firm online? All right, and like I said, just put in the chat, what do you think is the hardest thing? All right, not knowing what to advertise. I see it's Jim, not knowing what avenues to advertise. So yeah, we're gonna share this like on the webinar, and we're gonna talk about different avenues and what you should be doing. Yeah, there's so many things happening in the digital marketing world. And that's the hardest thing, not knowing which avenue to do, whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, but we'll be talking about that more. So just, be here, make sure you're writing down, these questions, as we go through the webinar, all right? So why would it be hard to market your law firm? Just ask the question to yourself, why? Well, there's so many options. Like I said earlier, there's so many options. And you're unclear where to spend your budget. Okay, that's a common issue that a lot of law firms have in themselves. Like they're not sure whether to do Facebook ads, to do Google ads, or to focus on their branding too. So this is a big problem with a lot of the the lawyers that want to market consistently, right? There's SEO, right? There's so many options, right? SEO, PPC, websites, social media. Like, should I focus on just my website? Should I be doing Google local service ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram? So there's so many avenues, right, that you can go, right? So we're going to be explaining this throughout this webinar on what you should be doing. So we know that marketing is a major investment, right? You need to invest money, in order to market your law firm. We understand it's a major investment, and you want to make sure that you're investing in the right strategy, because if you don't, that could lead to many problems, right? By overspending, underspending. So let's just go through the slide, and I'll kind of explain my take on this, right? So a lot of times we invest, all this money into marketing, and there's no profit in the end, right? We invested for 6, 8, 9 months, and you're not consistent, on your social media. You haven't gotten results from your Facebook ads. You haven't gotten results from your Google ads. And what happens is that there's nothing to show for, right? And that could be a major problem. So if you don't have a clear plan, you can overspend, or worse, you can underspend, and underperform. So you want to make sure that when you're going into 2022 is that you have the right budget so that you're not overspending or underspending. And it's important to look at both, like taking care of your brand and also getting you more leads at the same time. So what's the opportunity, right? What is the opportunity that I'm going to be sharing? Well, the opportunity is, first, you must have a clear plan with goals, okay? Goals, targets, and KPIs. Okay, KPIs is key performance indicators, all right? So my mentor, like I'm part of this mastermind group, and my mentor says, what gets measured gets done, and always improves. What gets measured gets done and always improves. So you need to have a plan with goals, right? And what you want to accomplish, right? And that goal could be that you want to generate more leads, right? To hit your targets and to keep your law firm growing. The other goal could be that you want your branding to be like consistent, right? Because if you're getting too many leads and your branding is not consistent, then that's not going to work either. So both of them have to be working together so that you grow your law firm, right? So once again, once you start marketing your company, right, you want to have a return on investment. All right. I mean, everyone that does marketing wants to have a return on investment, right? People think about return on investment only with dollar amounts, right? And that's the obvious, right? If you advertise and you put, let's say, $100, you want to try to get at least $200 or $300 back, right? But there's also another ROI, which is called social media ROI, social ROI. And people don't look at that ROI, and that's important. The social ROI is when you're posting consistently on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, you want to know like how many followers you started with and how many followers you want to get to. Or not just followers, but the engagement, how many views you're getting on different posts. If you're, recording videos, you might have a goal that, I want to record 4 videos every single month, and, I want to have, X amount of views on these videos. So, the more eyeballs you have, that's also a type of return on investment. So make sure that you're looking at both, not only the dollar amount, but also the social ROI. So success is when you're maximizing your lead flow and branding to hit your sales goals for 2022. So we can all agree. We can all agree that, if you want to have a successful law firm, you need to have both. You can't just focus on getting leads to get more cases and whatnot. You need to have the other aspect of it, which is taking care of your brand, taking care of your social media. Because if you don't have that, then people are not going to trust you. You might get leads, you might call that person, or the marketing person will call, but then if they go to your website, if they go to your social media page and it's not updated, then that's another problem. So success is having both. So number 1, let's set clear goals, right? Let's set clear goals. So there's a quote by Brian Tracy, which I love, which is, success is goals, all else is commentary. So what gets measured gets done and always improves. So it's important that you start off the year writing down what you want to accomplish this year and just write it down. So this is another analogy that when you're on a sailboat, I'm not sure if you've ever been on a sailboat, clear goals equals wind in your sails. So imagine that you're out in sea and there's no wind. You're going to be stuck, in the middle of the sea. So it's important that your goals are pushing you towards where you want to go. Because if not, you're going to be like that boat stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? So it's important to have clear goals, all right? So there's a study, this is a famous Harvard study. They interviewed like a bunch of students from the 1979. Okay, these are the smartest of the smartest, right? The cream of the crop, right? And 84%, of those that were from the graduating class, had no goals. 13% had goals, but they were not written down. 3% had clear written goals, and plans to accomplish them. So what was the result? This is crazy, right? The 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much, as the 84% who had no goals at all. But even more staggering was that the 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times more than the 97% put together. So, that's so important that we're setting goals, making sure that we're writing them down, because if you have goals, and you're not writing them down, you're not going to get the results you want. So this is an amazing study, that is really true. So goal setting framework, right? This is a framework that I want to share. So you need to have written goals and plans. You need to set it, at a minimum, 1 year goal. So set your goal for what you want to accomplish that year. Whatever your goal is for that year, then you can break it up into a quarterly goal, right? Once you have that quarterly goal, then you can break it up into a monthly goal. You must have a stopping point, of course. After you do this, you must have a stopping point, like at the beginning, of each new year and end of each quarter, to reflect how you did, right? And see if you met your goals or not, so that you can adjust anything that you need to tweak, right? So it's important, set that goal and then break it up into micro goals. I mean, you've heard this before, I'm sure, right? So put a 1 in the chat, if you agree that setting goals is so important. All right, I see Jim, I see Ashley, I see, I see Andrea putting that 1. So everyone agrees. I mean, we all agree that setting goals is important. So what are your goals? I'm going to ask you, what are your goals for 2021? What is your revenue target? How much is that monthly? What is your average case value? How many cases will that require, right? Divide that monthly target by the average case value. So you want to make sure that you're writing these things down. And like I said, your goals may be different than the other law firm. Maybe you're getting a ton of leads and you only need to focus on getting more eyeballs on your social media. So you might have more of a social media goal, right? But it's so important, in the end, that you focus on writing them down and what are the goals that you're going to need to accomplish for you to grow your law firm. So what is your goal for 2022? Okay, I'm going to ask you, Jim, what is your goal for 2022? All right, close more cases. All right, that's, everyone wants that, right? All right, Andrea, what's your goals for 2022? All right, you want to grow your revenue. All right, and that's, closing more cases, obvious. So in the end of the day, it's about closing more revenues, growing your sales. Oh, look, someone posted that they want to be consistent on social media because they want to get more eyeballs on the video views because they want to be more omnipresent. Okay, that's awesome. So the goal here, like I said, is to set your goals. How many leads or potential cases will you need monthly to get there? So ask that question. Okay, you want to make X amount for that year. How many leads do you need, or how many cases do you need to close every month in order to get there, right? If you're a personal injury attorney, that may be a lot less because it's a higher ticket item. Personal injury attorneys, you guys make more on each case, right? If it's a family law attorney, each case is different too, right? So set an average, look at last year's books and find out what you did so that you can put it together and have a plan of action, right? All right, so we're going to talk about the fundamentals, all right? And this is 3 fundamentals. This is the message, this is the what, the media, which is the how, and the market, which is the who. All right, we're going to be talking about these and breaking it up into 3. So the first one we're going to talk about is update your marketing message. So this is important. You first need to update your marketing message. So ask yourself, who is your ideal customer? All right, if you're a family law attorney, bankruptcy attorney, real estate attorney, you need to know who your ideal customer is before doing any type of marketing. Who is your ideal customer avatar? What are their pains, their frustrations? What are their fears, their implications, their goals and desires? What are their dreams? What do they aspire, So knowing this is really crucial. Like after this webinar, make sure that you sit down and write down, who is my ideal client? Like what age are they? What do they like? What are their pains? And you're going to see that's going to help you target your ideal avatar, your ideal customer. So who is your ideal customer avatar? So first you need to talk about their internal fears, right? I mean, everyone here has internal fears. I mean, sometimes we hide it, right? Because we don't want people to know that we're struggling with fears and whatnot. But there's fears. I mean, there's a set of fears and implications that I put here of what the customer thinks about attorneys, of what they think, right? When they're about to call a lawyer or whenever they're going to do something. So some of the fears are being ripped off, right? I mean, some attorneys have a bad rap of ripping other people off because they overcharge, right? So that's what they have. Their fears inside is like, oh, I don't want to call that lawyer because they might overcharge me, or paying too much in attorney fees. Maybe one of their fears is having an attorney that doesn't hear them out, right? Some attorneys, maybe they don't hear the customer and they think that way. The customer thinks that, oh my God, I don't want to call an attorney because of this. Fear of losing their possessions, fear of losing their children if they're going through a divorce, right? That's one of their fears. Like, oh my God, if I get the wrong attorney, then he's not going to defend me correctly. If I call family lawyer, they're not going to know how to handle it, and I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my child. I don't want to lose them in a custody battle or whatnot. All right. So these are some of the fears, and there's probably a lot more, right? Now, what are the goals? What are the goals that the consumer has in his mind, right? When they're calling an attorney, a family law attorney, when they're calling a bankruptcy attorney, whatever type of law that you practice. So what are their goals? So what they're thinking of is that they want more income, they want money, they want wealth, they want to travel and have fun with their family, they want to have peace of mind, right? I mean, if you're going through a divorce, or if, let's say, financially you're not doing well and you need to file for bankruptcy, like in their mind, they just want to get out of the debt. They want to have peace of mind, right? So once you know their desires and goals, you're going to know how to market that. So the message is very important that you portray their internal fears and also what their goals and desires are, right? So this is like, seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is by Stephen Covey. But this is another saying that if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. So in other words, if you know what your customer wants or that client, right, and you understand what they're going through, you're going to know how to position yourself in order to, position your law firm so that they can purchase from you, right? So it's important to know your messaging like this. So you need to craft your message. Once again, the message, the media, and the market, right? The what, the who, and the how. So I'm going to ask a few questions here. Right? So far, we have about 6 or 7 people. So why should someone choose to do business with your law firm versus the competition? All right, Jim, why should someone choose you to do business with you? Why? Why should they call your law firm? All right, because we're the best. All right, but other than that, what would be another reason? Okay, we hear them out. We hear, okay, that's awesome. That's amazing. So, if you could craft your message where you're letting them know, like, hey, we're going to listen to you when you come visit us. We're going to listen to you. We're going to understand what you're going through. That's huge. That's super huge. So knowing what your customer is feeling is amazing, right? So once we get over this webinar, go through these questions. It's important. So the next question is, what benefits do you offer that your target customer avatar will resonate with? Like, what are the benefits? So think about it. Think about it once we get out of this webinar. Think about what benefits do you offer that your target customer avatar will resonate with, right? Very important. Okay, go to the next slide here. So what's your message again, right? The market, the message, the media, the market. Those 3 are the most important for your message. Now we can look at the media. The next thing is to look at the media. Make sure that your hub is converting. So what the heck is a hub? Well, the hub is your website. You want to make sure that your website is converting. Your website is the center of attention. So that means that you want to make sure that if you're posting on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you're doing an email campaign, you're doing a specific type of campaign, that it's all going back home to your website, to your hub. Because if your website is not ready to convert, you're going to have a problem. So make sure that your website is ready for that, and make sure that you're putting all the marketing like around it, making the website the center of attention, right? So is your website, the question I'm going to ask you, like in the chat, is your website set up to convert visitors to clients? Okay. Like, for example, this is a small analogy. If I were to invite you to my house, right? there's going to be a reason for it. Like if I invite you and I tell you, hey, come at 5 o'clock and I'll tell you what we're going to do. So imagine you show up to my house at 5 p.m., you knock, and then I answer, but then, I'm silent. Like I don't say anything. You're looking at me and I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? And you go inside the house and still I'm silent. There's no direction. You're going to be lost, right? But if I had invited you to your house, like to my house, and I told you, no, look, I'm inviting you because I want to invite you for lunch. After that, we're going to have dessert. There's purpose, right? There's purpose. So your website should also have purpose, right? And when there's purpose, there's going to be more conversions. So this is an example of a website, and it's not really a website. Like this is a website, not that we did, but it's just an example. I mean, we've done nicer websites than this. This is not a website we've done. It's just more of an example. So your website, most importantly, should have the call to actions on top. Like for example, call us today for a free consultation with the phone number, right? So you want to make sure that when you're creating your website, that you have the number right on top, because most of the people are going to be looking at like on your mobile phone. Most people that are going to be visiting your website are going to be looking at it through mobile. So make sure that it's mobile friendly. When they go to your website, make sure that your phone number is right on the top. Then as they scroll down, you want to make sure that, like this example, is that your main heading should be like who they are, like what they do. Like in other words, experienced family law firm, right? That's what they do. They're an experienced family law firm. They do family law. And then right below it, you should have their proposition, like their value proposition. Like what are they giving to you? Like what's the purpose of me coming to your website? Just like if I visit to your house, what's the purpose? It's to have lunch or whatever it is. So here is our goal, is to help you and your family find a better future, right? And then right below, the call to action is schedule your free consultation. Okay, you want to make sure that you have this really down packed, because remember, when people visit your website, they're only there for a couple of seconds, like 3 to 7 seconds. So you want to make sure that you have all this in place. This is very important. And this may seem like elementary, but people are not doing it. I mean, there's a lot of lawyers, law firms out there that their website, they don't have this. So it's important that you get together with whoever's doing your website, make sure that you put these elements on it. You get a little break, drink a little water. All right, guys. Go to the next one. So is your website set up for conversion? So put a 1 in the chat if your website is set up for conversion. If you think that if someone visited your website, it's ready to go. All right. Jim, I see yes, a 1. Okay, that's amazing. Yvette put 2. Okay, so I'm guessing no. All right, we have a couple 1s, couple 2s. All right, so these are things that you need to ask yourself. So does your website, does it speak to your target avatar, like to your target audience? Does it address their fears, their frustrations? Like I was talking earlier, everyone is going through internal frustrations. Does it speak to the why and why they should choose you? Does it have images of your team, of the homepage throughout the website? So it's very important that your website has real photos of your family law attorney, of the service, of the practice areas. Make sure that every practice area on your website has real images, because people want to see more real photos, not just generic photos on your website. Does it include video elements to your website? Like a website welcome video, videos for each of your services, a video explaining why someone should contact you versus the competition. Oh, this is a good one. Does it showcase your online reviews, right? Like how many of you guys have 5-star reviews, a lot of 5-star Google reviews? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a lot of. Jen, okay, great. Jen, that's amazing. So use that as like an advantage to put it on your website. Make sure that you get a widget. I think if you're using WordPress, you can just download a plugin where you can set up like a feature, like a plugin, where it'll just feed, whenever someone gives you a 5-star Google review, it's going to show up on your website. All right. Okay, the next bullet, does it make it easy for them to take action? So once again, is there a purpose behind it? If someone visits your website, is there going to be a purpose behind it? All right. So get the basic things in order, like the phone number on the right-hand corner. Ensure that there's a web form that potential clients can fill out. And if there's anything that you guys have won, like the American Bar Association, like any accreditations, the BBB, like Better Business Bureau, put any accreditations on your website, because it gives you that social proof, that trust factor when you have that on your website. Are there calls to action, right? Like on each page to speak to your customer avatar and tell them exactly what to do next. Very important. Are you giving them the opportunity to engage via chat? This is huge. So, if you don't have a chat feature on your website, you're missing out. It's so important, because nowadays people are on their phone, they're text messaging and they're doing a bunch of stuff. And if they see something, it's so easy for them just to, like if they're visiting your website and there's a chat feature, they can just chat like, hey, you know what, I'm going through a lot with my family. I'm thinking about, getting a divorce, or financially I'm not doing well. But, they're going to send you the request via chat. And there's a lot of systems out there that will let you know once someone sends a chat, like a message, that you can receive that, like, either on your phone or on your desktop. Are you leveraging marketing automation and SMS to maximize your lead conversion? So that's what I was talking about. This is the next wave, guys. So, if you guys are not ready for automation, you got to get on this like yesterday. You want to make sure that you're automating the SMS. Like if someone goes to your website and they're chatting with you, you can automate a few things with that. You can have an automated response. Like, hey, thank you so much for responding for your request. Someone is going to notify you within 24 hours, right? So just make sure you're automating, having something in place for automation. So your website, right? Pull your website right now. Is it built to convert? So ask yourself once again, is your website built to convert? If not, it's just like a flyer online, right? You don't want that. So what do you need to tweak? So make sure that you're writing down and finding out what are the things that I need to do in order to tweak my website. So here's the problem, guys. And I'll go back to the previous slide. Your website is super important once again. Okay, so what are the things that you need to tweak? And this is the reason why. Here's the problem. 50 to 60% of inbound leads are unconverted. So that means even if your website is getting leads, 50 to 60%, they're not going to convert. And look at this, 90% of web forms fail to convert. So you might say, oh my God, I have 2 web forms and they're not converting, right? That's a big problem, right? Why? Why is that happening? Well, leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes, they go cold, right? I mean, put yourself in your situation. I mean, you're desperate and you're contacting a lawyer, a law firm, or whatever business. I mean, this applies to almost any business. If you don't get like a response within 15 minutes, you go somewhere else, right? Like the other day, I wanted to buy something for my house. I wanted to buy a nice fence, and I was just going online. I called, no one answered. I went to the next one. So it's important that once you get the leads, that you're following up within 15 minutes, and that's one of the reasons why. Because law firms are not following up within 15 minutes. They're probably following up the next day or 2 days later, right? So the average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking. 5 to 7 times, right? Today's consumers prefer to interact via text message or phone or email because they're busy, right? So text message, like I would say, would be number 1. Text message, email. So make sure that this is the problem. This is the why. So here's the solution. Here's the solution. You need automation. Leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of submission via phone, email, or text message. So having some automation in place is crucial. So automate the follow-up so that every prospect is touched 5 times and able to engage via 2-way text messaging. So super important. This makes every lead you generate more valuable, right? Guys, raise your hand. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you think that if you had a nice automation in place with text messaging, email, and voice drops, that wouldn't the leads be more valuable? Like when they come in, like once if someone is interested, put a 1 in the chat if that's true. So I'm seeing 1s all over. So it's very important, right? Because now the leads, there's a purpose behind it. The lead, someone was interested, they went to your website, they left their information, and right away there's going to be some follow-up, like automation, which is great. So very important. So let's implement this in your law firm, right? Let's do it. Let's implement this in your law firm. So here are some action items. So what are 3 conversion elements that you will implement on your website? So put in the chat right now, what would be 1 or 2 or 3 conversion elements that you would like to implement on your website, like as an action item? Let's give you a few seconds. Or all right, Jim says that he would like to have a chat feature because he feels that he's missing out on leads that are going to the website. All right, that's amazing. All right, Yvette said email automation in place. That's amazing too. Anyone else? Having a blog is consistent, Andrea. That's so true. So having a blog is crucial because that's going to allow you to be able to convert too as well. Because if you have a consistent blogging, you're going to have more traffic to your website. So having a blog, but I would say, like, other than that, when people are going to your website, having automation in place is so important. Like having the chat feature, having like a nice form that if they fill out the form right away, they're put into a funnel sequence, like into a campaign sequence of getting automation in place. So very, very important. That's awesome. All right, guys. Like I said, if you need more time, make sure that after the webinar, you're filling out the information and just going through all these slides and stuff, right? Because we're going to have the recorded webinar and we can send it to you as well. All right. So what are your takeaways? Like, what did you learn? Like, what did you notice? What would you like to share other than what you shared? So like I said, think about this. And, I think my key takeaway, like even me sharing it as a host, is your website needs to be ready to convert. You need to have a purpose for your website, right? If there's no purpose, there's no, there's going to be less conversions, right? So just like I said, when I invite you to my house, there's a purpose to it, right? So that's my key takeaway. So make sure that you're really focusing on the purpose behind it, right? Okay, so number 4, we're going to talk about know and track your KPIs, your key performance indicators, okay? So far we've talked about clear goal and targets for 2022. We've talked about clarity around market, message, and media. And also we've made sure that your website is optimized for conversion. It's very important, right? And we've set up a simple KPI tracking dashboard as well. So you want to make sure that you're getting all this set into place in order for you to win in 2022. So what are the key trends for 2022? What are the key trends? So the key trends for 2022 is you must have an all-in perspective with SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, local service ads, social media, Google Business Profile, which is before it was called Google My Business, right? You want to make sure you're optimizing Google Business Profile by posting. So these are the key trends that you should be doing. Number 2 is video, and more video. You need to be doing video, right? Because video is, you can really get more eyeballs, in what you're trying to convey to that future prospect, right? When someone looks at a video versus a regular image, the video gets more views. That's just the way, video is very powerful. So you want to make sure that you're doing video, a lot of video on social media, on YouTube. Start creating your YouTube channel. Make sure that you're doing webinars like me, like I'm doing a webinar, right? You can also do a webinar, which is video, and then you can record it like it's being recorded right now, and then you can syndicate it. So make sure that you're doing video in everything that you're doing. Getting video testimonials is crucial too. And then number 3, the whole purpose of this is you want to become omnipresent, right? You want to make sure that you're coming out everywhere on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook, through email marketing, through SEO, if someone searches you online, through Google Business Profile, everywhere. You want to make sure that you're becoming omnipresent, because that's how you're going to gain more trust as a lawyer and whatever practices that you're servicing. So let's build your 2022 plan. Number 5, build your 22 digital marketing plan. So this is it right here in a summary, right? Your plan for 2022 involves, number 1, having a website that converts, having a website that there's purpose behind it, right? Number 2 is SEO, making sure that you're coming out on the search engines. Like SEO stands for search engine optimization. So that means when someone is searching on Google for a family lawyer or a personal injury attorney in California, you want to make sure that little by little you're coming out on certain search terms. Mind you, there's certain search terms that are very competitive that might take years for you to come out, but you should start heading towards that day. Heading towards those search terms, in other words, right? Because there's going to be some that are more competitive and some that are less competitive, right? So make sure that you're focusing on your SEO. So make sure that you're doing link building, on-page optimization, blogging, reputation management, which means that you're asking for those reviews, right? Like when you finish a case, make sure that you have your secretary send out a link of your Google Business Profile so that they can give you a review. Number 3 is your PPC, your pay-per-click campaign. This is more of a short-term strategy, right? So number 2, like SEO, was more of a long-term strategy. So number 3, the PPC, is more of a short-term strategy. So make sure that you have someone that is running your Google Ads campaign or local service ads. Local service ads is really cool. I'm not going to get into it, but local service ads is a type of service that Google will only charge you when the phone call comes in. So you can have like an agency do this for you, or you can even do it yourself, is create a profile on local service ads, put the category that that you want to advertise in. They're going to ask you a few questions. It's somewhat of a long process, but after you set that up, you put the budget that you want. You say, Google, I want to spend no more than $1,000, and each phone call is going to cost $200 or $150. So that means that they're going to position you. They're going to put your local service ad in front of people. Whenever they call you, they're going to charge you only for the call. So if no one calls you in that month, or you only get one call, they only charge you for one, even though your budget is for more. So pretty good. You should be doing it. Let me get a little water break really quick. Who's getting value here? Put a 1 in the chat if you're getting value from this 2022 digital marketing plan. All right, I see a couple ones. All right, I like it. All right, so number 4 is retargeting. You want to make sure that the traffic that's going to your website, like once you start building traffic to your website, you want to retarget, right? So that you can retarget them. So I'm sure you've been to a website and for some reason you hop off that website and you go to Amazon or you go to another website and you see the ad and you're like, oh my God, like I was just there. I was going to buy shoes and look, now I see the shoes again. So that's a retargeting. So you want to make sure that as a law firm that you're doing some retargeting ads. And the budget for retargeting ads they're not too expensive. They're probably you can spend like $200-300 like a month on retargeting. And Google will only charge you if you're actually using it. So it's really cost effective. Number 5 is you want to make sure you're getting on free directories and paid directories, online directories, making sure that you're putting yourself on those legal directories, Find Law, Avil. There's many legal directories, and of course the major directories as like Google My Business, Yelp, and there's many more. All right. Number 6 is social media. Social media is so huge. I mean, in our agency, we really focus a lot on social media, and I highly recommend if you're a lawyer and you haven't really tapped fully into social, into social media, you need to start doing it, and you need to start being consistent, making sure that you're posting every single day, just education content, recording videos as well, making sure that you're recording yourself, because when you record yourself, you become famous online, right? This is something, I always tell my law firms is that you can become famous online by doing a lot of videos, right? You're going to gain more trust. You're going to be more of a thought leader. So make sure that you're doing a lot of videos on social media, and also email marketing. Let's not forget email marketing. Email marketing is very powerful. Make sure that if you have an existing list that you're sending out to that email list and ask for referrals, right? If you don't have an email list, you can always purchase one. It's not the best strategy because you're going to be sending it to cold emails, but email list is huge, and also social media. Number 7 is also like a short-term strategy. So number 3, PPC, and number 7, which is Facebook ads, is more of a short-term strategy to get leads within a month or two. And you can also come up with doing Facebook ads. You can also do what is called like a custom audience. So you can target cell phones, you can target emails, so that when those people log into their Facebook account, your ad will pop up. So if you have a list of emails of, let's say, cold prospects, or you have a list of cell phones, you can put them into Facebook and create what is called a custom audience, and you can run ads. And it's very powerful. And there's more things you can do on Facebook. I'm not going to speak, on it now, but there's a lot of things you can do. I highly recommend just really doing this. So if you do all this is a good plan for 2022. All right. So this is a client case study that I wanted to show. All right. So this was a family law attorney that they invested $1,000. So that was their budget. And we were able to get them on a consistent basis, 34,000 impressions, 195 clicks, and the cost per click was $5.40. Not bad. They got 24 leads. Now, mind you, within those 24 leads, maybe 7 or 8 were bad because it happens, right? But they were able to close a couple of cases, like 2 or 3 cases from what I recall. So each cost per lead was $43. So, a case is a lot more than $43. So you need to be really investing in doing paid ads as well. That's more of a short-term strategy, okay? Because it works. So once again, the online strategy is you need a website that is built to convert. You need a proactive SEO that works. You need a Google Maps like optimization. So make sure that you're optimizing your Google business profile. Focus on online reviews and reputation. So make sure that you're getting those reviews. Make sure that when someone leaves your review that you reply back to them. Or if once you finish a case, send them a text message. Like have your secretary send that person that you finished their case and ask them for the review. So you can start building your reviews. Be strategic on PPC and Facebook ads campaigns, because that's a short-term strategy. Your social presence and email marketing, like I said, is very important as well. And make sure that you're tracking, you're measuring everything. Make sure that you're measuring, like I was speaking to you earlier, not only your dollar ROI, but also your social media ROI, because they're both very powerful. You need to be working on your brand and also to get leads. Both are important. So once again, like I shared earlier in the webinar, you could download this checklist. Please go to ewiserlaw.com/checklist. And it's a free download. Just go there now, download it, and you're going to be able, it's the ultimate online marketing checklist for lawyers. And it's going to tell you just what you need to do. And it's a nice guide for you to have. All right. So guys, put a 1 in the chat if you guys have been getting value from this webinar. Put a 1 in the chat. All right, I see 5, 6 1s. One of them is silent, so I don't know if that's a 1 or a 2. I'm hoping, yes, 1 all across. All right, awesome. All right, so what are the action items, right? What are your top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your 2022 goal? So think about that. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds. All right. All right, anyone have, like, what are your top 3 internet marketing initiatives? All right, Jim put that he needs to start doing Facebook ads and PPC. So that's, yeah, that's important. So remember, once the webinar is done, make sure that you write it down, make sure you put the, those action items so that you know what you need to do, right? Because what gets measured gets done and always improved. So make sure that you're taking action on this. What are your takeaways? So what are your takeaways? What did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? Okay. And like I said, like, I'm not gonna be asking so many questions, but in the chat, if there's one thing that you've learned so far in this whole webinar so far, what would it be? I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. What did you learn? All right, I'm seeing someone having purpose on the website. Okay, that's a good one. Let's see, who else? Adding a chat feature to engage with prospects that are visiting the site. Awesome, amazing. How to start doing the marketing, because I didn't know how to. That's amazing, right? A lot of times we start the new year and we don't even have a marketing plan in place. So awesome, Andrea. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So guys, once again, like answer these questions on your own. Maybe right now you're not really thinking about this, but really answer these questions, because once you have a clear picture, you're going to win in 2022. So what have we covered so far? So we've covered setting goals for 2022, how many leads to hit your target, the 3 fundamentals of marketing success, how to optimize your website for conversion in 2022 and beyond, the big picture of all the online marketing channels you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow and branding online. Also, the latest trends that you need to focus on in 2022, and to develop a custom action plan based on where you are now and what you need to do now, okay? So let's talk, all right? Like, our mission is to help law firms get more clients by improving their brand image and getting their online marketing right. So before I let you go, like, we finished the webinar, and I just wanted to let you know that if you're currently working with an agency and you're not happy with them, I would love to talk to you, to get on a discovery call, or if you're not working with an agency and it's been a while that you haven't been consistent with your digital marketing, I would love to talk to you, and you can do that by visiting the URL below. It's go.ewiserlaw.com/strategy-session. So it's go.ewiserlaw.com/strategy-session. So guys, that's it. And I hope that you gained a lot of value. And one thing that I leave you in is take action. What gets measured gets done.